Hi everyone, this is Biondo from Niagara Historical Fencing, and today I have for you a quick video showcasing distance and measure. You're going to see some clips from Montreal Sword Meisters Rapier and Dagger finals match between me and a fencer named Jeremi. And I think this fight in particular shows something that many HEMA practitioners struggle with, which is distance management and understanding when they are threatened and when they can be reached via just an extension of the arm or a quick lunging action. The first exchange of the match, I immediately see that Jeremi is too comfortable being within fencing range, where alarm bells would be going off in my head if someone was that close to me and I would be retreating or throwing some sort of counterattack. He's okay sitting there, and as a result, I notice that I can just throw an attack with an ever so slight lunge or advancing step, and so I just wait for his arms to be in a position where I can thrust through and hit the point. So in this clip, you're going to see me get close enough that I can actually bind my opponent's rapier with my parrying dagger. In cases like this, you are definitely going to be too close to your opponent if they're able to just move their arm forward and touch your rapier with their offhand, especially if they're in a dominant foot forward position. And as a result, I'm able to lift his rapier ever so slightly, which brings his guard upwards, and it exposes his arm, which I take the point to a hand hit. In this next exchange, you see Jeremi trying to set up his distance with some preparatory steps, including some offline steps. But I notice that during this, he's trying to set up his attack after he's completed these steps. The problem is he moves with his body first, and as a result, comes into distance before he's able to actually launch his attack. So what I do is I throw out a stop thrust to counter that action, which ever so slightly offlines his blade, and it goes over my shoulder, and I get the point. This next exchange, since I've noticed that his distance management is a little off, I start to do these kind of jumping forward and backward steps to see when his defenses will be thrown up. And I keep doing this, and there's one in particular where I jump in fairly close, and had he thrown an attack at that instant, he definitely would have hit me. My guard was very low, and I get that fight or flight feeling where it's like, oh, I'm too close to my opponent right now, so I immediately withdraw, and then realize if I get to that distance, I can throw a thrust from the low line without him even seeing it coming. And the reason he doesn't see it coming is not necessarily that I'm super fast at throwing out the thrust, but that I have the distance necessary to throw it out where his sight and reaction speed is not going to be fast enough to counter my technique solely because of the distance that I'm in. And this exact concept is why you see a lot of fencing masters refer to distance as time, or they use them interchangeably, because the more distance you have, the more time you have. In this final exchange, you see Jeremi take on a much more aggressive approach, and he decides to throw a massive lunging attack with a thrust. The problem with the way he initiates this exchange is that he is far out of distance. Even with his jumping lunge technique, I still have enough distance and therefore time to react accordingly, and so I parry it with my offhand and return a thrust before he can recover. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you can take some of what I've detailed here and try and apply it to your own fencing, and we'll see you in the next one.